Best friends. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Some look like this. Some look like this. Some look like this. And some look like this. Whether they're your partner in crime or your partner in life, it's nice to know that someone out there has your back, no matter what. I'm sorry, was that Epstein and Trump? Not sure how that photo got into the spread, but it does serve as a damning reminder that friendship is not always innocent. It is, in many cases, yet another power to be abused. As you saw in the title, today's abuse comes to us in the form of a film trilogy, written, directed by, and starring boomer heartthrob Donald James Parker. When you make Trump fan films and pickleball fan films and films about hanging out with kids, all with romance plots, every single one, chances are you're going to have trouble making lasting connections with the people around you. So, in order to simulate friendship, what Donald James Parker has done is make a film. 3 consecutive films about a friendship that in real life would land at least one of these guys on some kind of watch list. As we know, all of Donald's films, while containing storylines, ultimately act as vessels for his religious or socio-political agenda of the week. What I did not realize is that this is made abundantly clear in a passage under the submissions tab of his Sword of the Spirit publishing company website that reads, and I quote, "All delivery of your work must be done electronically via email. You won't need to submit a formal proposal that you spend valuable writing time to create. We're not interested in publishing proposals. We're also not interested in publishing fluff escapism literature. If your story doesn't have a message for the readers, then it's not a good fit for our goals. We also are not fussy about having perfected manuscripts. Why should you spend your time making something absolutely free of errors when an editor is going to go over it anyway? We will be fussy about delivery. If you're not writing in a fashion that grabs people's attention, no one will find the time to read it in this world of instant gratification, with a plethora of good books vying for the attention of those interested in being stimulated by the written word." Yeah, look, man, I don't know what your gripe is with me. All I did was click on the webpage. Also, what is this? Currently taking submissions by invitation only? Genuinely, how does that even work? Now I'm pressed with you. It's no secret that this is blatant propaganda. Never before, however, have we seen this method displayed across a trilogy. And the idea troubles me. It's a lot of time to say a lot of bullshit. Now being on the other side of it, I can confirm that it is indeed a painful 6-hour experience. That being said, I can also confirm that it is unfortunately, without a doubt, Donald James Parker's magnum opus. So let's just get this over with. Let's go back to where it all began and take a look at Best Friends Eternally.
Hey Jackson, why is it, despite the plethora of atheist friends you have, you choose to hang out with me, your continual thorn in the side Christian friend?
Oh, man, Donald, that just sucks. You know, it's not your fault. Clearly, you and your fellow Christians are just in a marginalized community. In your universe. I've never seen that anywhere else. Personally, I think that's actually a super dumb question. Like, victim complex aside, you're telling me you've never heard of a religious person being friends with a non-religious person? Like, come on, man, at least add some validity to your bait. Hey, you know what though? I'll bite. I'd like to know what makes the best friends eternally best friends.
Okay, look. You're the only one who stimulates me both at the chessboard and the dinner table. So, despite your incessant chatter about Jesus, I choose to hang out with you instead of my own kind.
My God, Donald, this man is in love with you. I know you wrote that line, but there's no way that is how you envisioned it. That delivery was fucking romantic. It's probably important to mention for those that are new here that due to my personal beef with Donald, you'll often hear me mention him by both his real life name and his character name. And that is also because all of the characters he plays are literally just him. But for the sake of clarity, meet Tony and Jackson, two chess-playing chuds with a grueling rapport. They met during the Vietnam War after Tony saved Jackson's life on the battlefield and have been best friends ever since. So hey, who knows? Maybe they were romantic at some point, you know? War. After their conversation about religion transitions into a back and forth exchange of old-timey film star impressions, they manage to converge on their shared belief that all schools should have mandatory viewings of classic film and television. Okay, just to give you an idea of pacing here, that was, well, let's see, that was 2 minutes of conversation. That's bizarre.
You know, the school should have mandatory movie marathons with the Marx Brothers, Jimmy Stewart, Bob Hope, etc.
Yeah, television marathons with Dick Van Dyke and Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear that Mickey Rooney died today? Another one gone.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, officer down, bro. Rest and poop. Once again, you're acting as if schools don't teach. I would have never known about Mickey Rooney blackface if I hadn't learned it in a classroom. At school. Yeah, they actually do teach that stuff in school. I think Donald just doesn't go outside. I feel like the phrase liberal arts pisses him off so much that he just flat out refuses to accept that it's a thing. Remember, we are talking about the same guy who made a movie where he goes back to college and successfully convinces everyone, including the professors, that evolution is a hoax. And also one of the professors wants to bang it, obviously. Anyway, speaking of college, scene 2 of this film introduces Tony's granddaughter, Madison, who has decided to live with her grandfather for the entirety of her undergraduate degree.
Madison,
Hey,
come
Grandpa.
on in. Give me a big hug. Oh,
Thank you so much for letting me live with you while I go to college.
Well, believe me when I tell you, it's all my pleasure. You know, I know how much it costs for college tuition these days, and adding the cost of lodging to that has to be crazy expensive.
Pretty much.
Let me look at you. Holy cow, you've grown up even more
Don't,
since the last
why
time
did
I
that
saw you.
happen?
So, hey, let's go to your bedroom and get you unpacked here. I'll grab your bags.
Okay, I have more stuff in the car.
I'm sure you do. You're a woman.
Oh, great. Ah, college, baby. Yes, it's just like in the movies. I knew it. You know, like just me and my grandpa. Flirting. Madison's complacency with that series of violations would seem to indicate a high similarity in belief systems between herself and her grandfather. Simply put, this is a Donald James Parker movie, and Madison is a woman. So, unfortunately, college is not the only thing that she'll be attending to around here.
I've been bragging to my buddy Jackson about your awesome cooking skills, and he just insisted that he gets a chance to try it.
Today?
Yeah. I hope that's not a problem.
Nah, I'm good. I guess I better start earning my keep around here right off the bat.
Yeah.
It isn't until after she cooks for them that we learn that she's going to school for political science, which, given her conservative Christian background, honestly, it seems like something we should just let her go and experience for herself. And you know what? We do. Because we never hear about that shit ever again. In fact, Madison going to college is actually just a plot device that allows them to reveal a bunch of exposition about Jackson. Apparently, he was a science professor back in the day before retiring, but is now feeling unfulfilled in his old age. Sounds like the perfect opportunity to bring up Jesus again.
Maybe you need Jesus.
Maddie, hey, you're trying to squelch the girl again. Maybe she's right.
What? I've been talking to you about Jesus for over 40 years, and all you ever did was argue with me? She comes along, and in 40 seconds, she has you thinking, maybe you need Jesus after all?
Well, those green emerald eyes of hers are much more persuasive than
Okay,
your...
can you guys leave this girl the fuck alone? Absolutely loving that you're a bi king, Jackson. Huge. But I'm gonna need you to stick to one love interest, okay? Gonna really need that to not be Madison.
Is the whole missionary zeal thing just something personal so you can rack up trophy points or something?
No, of course not.
Well, then you don't mind if I talk to your granddaughter about Jesus?
Absolutely not, unless you're just doing it to hack me off.
Oh, Tony. I've got a million other ways I can do that.
Oh my God, yes. The more we learn about Madison, the more frightening she becomes. After experiencing Donald's church, she deems it much less stimulating than her church at home, claiming she couldn't feel the same, quote, hunger for God. That experience ends with way too hard of a high five, and she heads to Jackson's house to hang out with him and his granddaughter, Brittany. Oh boy, I wonder what they could possibly be discussing.
So, what's new with you?
Oh, nothing much. Oh yeah, I'm going to be immunized for cervical cancer. My mom thought that that would be a good thing for me to do.
Are you talking about Gardasil?
Gardasil, huh?
The drug that they are going to vaccinate you with.
Oh, I don't know. I guess that sounds familiar.
That stuff is dangerous.
I feel like if you've made it this far in life, like to the point where you're literally sitting in collegiate level political science classrooms and you still think this way, you probably have a mental illness, like genuinely, seriously. Once again, I understand that Donald is the writer behind all of this, but sometimes I forget, like, these people read the script. They took the job. It is completely reasonable, therefore, for us to assume that every single person involved with this production shares the same feelings about the topics at hand. On the topic of topics, this rant from Madison hits too many of them. She tackles the HPV vaccine, evolution denial, the American Cancer Society, and of course, God, in the span of like 2.5 minutes. Later that day, Jackson, who, if you'll remember, used to be a science professor, is so moved by this InfoWars-style rant that he sits his daughter, Brittany's mother, down to convince her to convince Brittany to not get the HPV vaccine. It's so fun explaining this out loud.
You feel pretty strongly about this?
Yeah, if I didn't, I wouldn't have invited you over.
Okay, Dad. We'll cancel the treatment.
Thanks, honey. Oh, and while we're at it, I recommend you study mammograms. There's some concern that mammograms actually cause the breast cancer they're designed to diagnose. And there are other safe tests for breast cancer.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Dad. I love you so much. What the fuck was that? When did we switch cancers? This is sort of the beginning of the end moment for Jackson. For the rest of the film, he just dives deeper and deeper into Christianity and science denial with his new friend Madison. This girl consistently manages to eradicate educated opinions that this man has held for twice her lifetime in one conversation. And Tony's not having it.
I've been breathing and eating this topic for the last couple of weeks.
Big whoop.
In fact, it seems everyone around him is beginning to out-Christian him. Jackson is now studying and quoting the Bible 24/7, and Madison has begun speaking in tongues around the house. The two of them also do this thing together where they stand outside of what seems to be a business lot with these classroom poster board Jesus signs. It's a frequent activity in the film. They do it like 4 times, mainly so that they can have people walk up on them and be like,
You know your message just pushes people away from the gospel.
Sorry, dude, but we believe our message is the gospel.
But you know what? It's not. So why don't you two just pack it on up, go home, braid each other's hair, or do something just equally as harmless.
Give it a rest, Shane. Come on. We drink some more beer and we get home, we get, you know.
I think you should listen to your wife.
yo, shut your bitch ass up, Jackson. Stay out of this. But the best part is, I don't doubt for a second that people at Donald's church do this in real life. It's such like a useless, half-assed attempt at missionary work. I could totally see them treating it as like a harrowing task. I truly believe that half of the reason medical anxiety exists is because it's so hard to get a doctor's appointment. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be hard? What if I told you it could actually be easy? What if I tell you about it right now? ZocDoc, the sponsor of today's video. ZocDoc is a free website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or any of the other 200+ specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by symptom or specialty to build the perfect team for you. There are thousands of verified patient reviews to give you a real sense of who your doctor is. That way, you can feel confident about booking with a doctor that you know you'll love. When you're ready, you can see their real-time availability and click to book instantly. No phone tag, no waiting, none of that. And these appointments happen pretty fast, guys, typically within 24 to 72 hours. And the best part is, sometimes you can score same-day appointments. Be kind to yourself this year and use ZocDoc for free by going to the link ZocDoc.com/AndyKing. There, you can find and instantly book an appointment with an in-network, top-rated doctor today. Thanks for keeping us healthy, ZocDoc. All your Zockers and your doctors. Seeing his best friend and granddaughter excel without him makes Tony resentful. And as he begins to spend more time alone, we begin to experience the greatest DJP storyline of all time.
Hello there. It's beautiful out here, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Donald, come on. Donald, you're not pulling like that. You're just not, okay? This is a blatant display of your delusion. Actually, no it isn't. Not yet. This woman, who introduces herself as Belle, pulls up on Tony, immediately asks why his wife isn't with him, to which he replies,
She died about 2 years ago.
Then she's just like, okay, let's ride bikes together.
What's up?
It's my house. Do you want a Coke glass of lemonade?
Oh, that sounds great.
Great. Come on in.
All right. Don't have to ask me twice.
No way. Now, during my initial viewing of this scene, I was thinking, very funny, this is like a bad porn intro. Which, to be fair, is a thought that crosses my mind during every DJP scene. Rarely, however, do the characters actually end up in sensual situations. So when they do, it is unbelievably uncomfortable.
Your muscles are really tight. Does that feel good?
No, that feels wonderful. You know, I haven't felt a woman's touch since my wife died.
Wow. So yeah, this sucks. But to review, Tony has just been lured into a random woman's home, given lemonade, a massage, and what we later learn is premarital sex.
It is good.
How'd you like the way my lips tasted the other day?
Hi, Chihuahua.
Stop. Later, when Tony returns home, he lets Madison know that he won't be making it to church this weekend because he's planning to go on a road trip, presumably with Belle, after only 24 hours of knowing her. But when Madison asks for more information about said road trip, Tony gets super defensive and basically tells her to fuck off. So we're starting to enter this sort of role reversal, yeah? We're seeing Jackson embrace God and conspiracies and his best friend's granddaughter, while Tony is seemingly moving away from God. But you tell me, does that seem like such a bad thing? No church, banging, massages, lemonade, spiked with bourbon, by the way, so he's totally lit. Obviously, from the film's perspective, it's all seen as sinful, but from any normal person's perspective, that shit is hard rock. Let's go, baby. Regardless, we're meant to believe that these are the reasons he's begun to act like a complete dick.
For the last time, I am fine.
Towards the end of the film, there's a scene where everything starts to fall apart between Tony and Jackson, and they have a big blowout argument. Nothing particularly important happens during the conversation, but before he storms off, Jackson reveals something absolutely insane.
I guess I'll go home and get down on my knees and do battle for your soul.
Well, that's a half a good idea. The part about you going home. Besides, you'll be headed to Florida pretty soon, and you don't have to worry about me anymore.
Oh, not so fast. I'm selling both my houses in Seattle and Florida. I'm donating the money to Gospel for Asia for working with the untouchables in India.
Why the fuck would you ever do that? You wouldn't. See, that's the thing. That's what I was talking about before. If you wanted us to believe that that's something you would do in real life, you probably shouldn't have included the scene of you peddling God outside of the Five Below. Anyway, everyone's kind of going off the rails at this point. The only person who's remained pretty much the same throughout the film is Madison, and she's been insane since moment one. I mean, if you really think about it, she's kind of the catalyst for all of this. Ever since she showed up and started giving out her unwarranted advice, everyone around her has completely radicalized themselves against each other. So with only 15 minutes left and 2 movies to go, it really makes you wonder. When's this wrapping up?
Oh, baby, you sure know how to make me feel young again.
I should come over more often then.
That would work for me. I just need to spend less time with the old coot I've been wrapping around my little pinky.
What's up with that anyway?
Oh, it's been fun soiling his goody two-shoes. And he's been whining and dining me. I like the finer things in life, but I just don't like paying for them.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if you guys caught that. It was kind of fast. Let's run that back. What a plot twist! And with the younger man!
You are unbelievable. Literally.
I'm not gonna lie, I had a feeling their relationship wasn't gonna make it past movie 1, but I did not expect them to take the infidelity route. Especially, again, so close to the end. Alas, Tony, depressed and defeated, goes home to sit in the dark and drink an entire bottle of Canadian Club by himself. Gosh, with a lead-in like this, you'd think the guy's he's gonna kill himself. I would give a little trigger warning in literally any other case. Fortunately, however, what you're about to see is the single funniest thing to ever happen in a Donald James Parker movie.
What the? There's no bullets in it. Where did I put the? How come it's not loaded? Where did I put those dang things? Can't even kill myself. Shit.
Okay, that's enough. I love the delivery on that, by the way, that
Can't even kill myself.
this whole scene is like textbook low-budget movie. It's one of those feelings that if you try to replicate, you'll never achieve. There's a certain lack of self-awareness required to create moments like this. And as much as I hate to admit it, it is objectively fascinating. It's an art form that cannot be intentionally created, and I do think that's unique. Sorry. Okay, I'm done being nice now. After failing to take his own life, Tony passes out drunk, only to be woken up by Jackson, who's had a change of heart about his friend just in the nick of time. Impressively, the story comes full circle as Jackson succeeds in bringing Tony back to the light with the word of God. And in the final moments of the film, the two best friends make a pretty quirky deal.
Will you do me another favor?
What's that?
Let me pick out your next wife again.
You got it.
Who will that wife be? Well, I guess we'll just have to find out in the next film, Best Friends, Recycled. Before we get to that though, I got a little too curious the other day while doing some research for this video and discovered some things I thought you folks might find interesting. Folks, it is my absolute displeasure to introduce you to DonaldJamesParker.com, which is a fascinatingly built web page, might I say. You see how we have like the navigation bar here? Okay, if you turn your ad blocker on, look at this. No navigation. So we will be we'll be pausing our ad blocker today. Now it's kind of weird. He has two separate websites that all seem to be within the same website. So like this is DonaldJamesParker.com, but then if you click here, it'll take you to sort of the Spirit Publishing, but it's still DonaldJamesParker.com. I don't know. Maybe someone who builds websites can tell me about that. Actually, we'll talk about this website first. This is sort of the Spirit Publishing. Okay, you can read the mission statements or whatever. Here we can see a list of the authors that write for them. Here we can see Donald James Parker at the top. He's got like 50 billion books. And then all of the other authors have like 1 or 2. Now, if you go to the contact section, there is an email to contact Sword of the Spirit Publishing at gmail.com. You can also sign the guest book. And to prove you're human, all you have to do is enter Jesus. Let's leave a little something here. Andy Clean. Sure, why not? And we'll say something along the lines of, hey, DJP. Love ya, girl. Yeah, a little semicolon there. Submit. Anyway, this site is pretty kosher. I want to go back to the main DonaldJamesParker.com. Okay, we've definitely got a bunch of subcategories of links here. DJP interviews, DJP's radio show, videos, writing, religion, evolution, authors, donors for Jesus. What is this? Oh. Okay. This looks like a dark website. This is really weird. He gave his all for us. Can we give a little for him? I suppose. Look at this. Look at this graphic up here. Right to bear arms. Oh, like blood. Perhaps the most fascinating page on this website, though, is under the Donald James Parker tab. It's just Donald James Parker tab. Here we'll find a subcategory titled prepping. What type of prepping? You'll see. We're gonna click it. Here we go. Prepping with Donald James Parker. God's people perish for lack of knowledge. The motto of the Boy Scouts is be prepared. It's time for God's people to adopt it. So yeah, this is a Doomsday prepping help guide put together by Donald James Parker. That's the important part to know. He has taken all of the time to put this together. Alternative power and heat, food preservation, foraging, healthy living, medical preparation, self-defense. Oh my God. All right, so, were you at January 6th? Here you can learn all about guns and ammo. These are all just hyperlinks. Alternative weapons? What the fuck? 5 alternative weapons to guns.
I'm gonna share with you 5 different weapons that you can use instead of a gun.
Great, great. Yes! I mean, yeah, like, it's definitely weird, but it does seem that he's just kind of like put together a Doomsday prepping guide here. Keep in mind, Doomsday to people like this can mean a lot of shit, okay? January 6th. Parker's road to becoming an author is not the typical one. Totally immersed in work and other mundane affairs, Donald woke at 2 o'clock one morning in 2006 with a sensation he had heard a voice saying, "Write a book about evolution." That is highly unsurprising. You probably didn't even need to tell me that. I could have made that up myself. Skip to the end here to revise an old John Wayne quote, "A crusader's gotta do what a crusader's gotta do." Yeah, and Donald, what is it that those crusaders were doing again? Look at this, audio greeting from Donald. Let's wrap it up with that, yeah?
Hi, this is Donald James Parker. My fiction is intended not to cause you to escape from reality, but to embrace a new reality where you have the abundant life spoken of by Jesus. God bless.
Yeah, okay, sure, bro. Yeah, whatever. Please do yourself a favor and give this website a gander when you get the chance, but there's some very odd stuff on here. Yeah, there you go. I won't sugarcoat this, folks. The other 2 films in this trilogy are absolute dog shit compared to Best Friends Eternally. Thought I would just lay that out now. They contain a lot more in-your-face propaganda in the sense that it's just less disguised, which actually makes it more annoying. This second one, though, Best Friends Recycled, this one's just rough all around. Why don't we take a look?
I'm about to give up on the singles group at church. All the men there are duds.
Did you just figure that out?
I think all the eligible men are married already.
Stacy, if they're married already, wouldn't that make them ineligible?
I meant all the cute guys.
Well, when men get to be my age, cute is a word that really doesn't apply.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Okay. Hey, why is Jackson just posted up all alone at this restaurant, acting all cool style, drinking a glass of water? All we know about his motive in this film is that he's tasked himself with finding Tony a new wife, so we can only assume that he's come to this restaurant with the intent of preying on middle-aged women. However we feel about that doesn't matter, unfortunately, because what we're about to hear is a whole lot worse.
Now, don't tell me you wouldn't take a younger man if you could get him.
Well, actually, I prefer older men. I want someone who'll be a leader, and if I'm older than he is, I might not submit as freely.
Hey! I have a problem with that. By the way, not sure if anyone recognizes this woman, but this is the woman who played Donald's wife in Hearts Are Trump. And guess what? She's gonna do it again! This scene is a ruthless 5 minutes of these two women trying to explain to these two women that they have the submission principle all wrong. These two, Doris and Julie, are widowed. These youngsters, on the other hand, casually reveal that they've each been through 3 marriages. So it seems between that and the submission thing that no one here is really qualified to be giving out advice.
My philosophy is that my husband was the tiebreaker. That was the power given to him by God to be the authority in the family. I mean, I always gave my input, but the final decision, it rested with him. I felt that he was responsible to God for every decision that he made, and then I was responsible to God for being submissive.
And every time you disagreed, he probably reminded you that you needed to submit.
He never even mentioned it. I mean, he didn't lord it over me and use submission as some kind of a club.
Ah, okay, yeah. So she's basically describing the concept of the implication right now, which, if you're unfamiliar...
You've said that word implication a couple of times. What implication?
The implication that things might go wrong for her if she refuses to sleep with me. Now, not that things are gonna go wrong for her, but she's thinking that they will.
But it sounds like she doesn't want to have
Why
sex
aren't you
with
understanding?
And that clip is from a sitcom. So this is crazy, all right? Like, actually highly deranged material. Only 2 characters in this universe possess the ability to match that kind of freak, and one of them just so happens to have been eavesdropping this entire conversation. It isn't long after Jackson introduces himself that he also introduces Tony, and the 4 become friends.
Oh, so you're really into fitness?
Total health overall.
Do you take supplements too?
Dozen capsules a day at least.
You know, I do too. So what do you take?
Vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Stop! Most of what happens in the rest of this film is utter bullshit. Like, nothing really happens at all. It's just the pairs of characters going on dates and having slow-paced conversations about either their religious beliefs or the thing that they just did in the last scene with some religious beliefs sprinkled in. Donald also keeps doing that writing thing where he gets uncomfortable in the middle of his romantic scenes and tries to break the tension with shitty one-liners.
So, what do we do for an encore?
What do you want to do?
I want to see you again.
I think that can be arranged.
The film does get awesome again about an hour and 20 minutes in when Tony and Julie are discussing the prospect of marriage, and Tony decides to let all of his skeletons out of the closet. By this, I of course mean his brief stint with Belle from the last film, which, due to being premarital sex, absolutely devastates Julie. Luckily though, she's willing to understand. It's what worries her in the present moment that really gives me the giggles.
Did you have a test for sexually transmitted diseases? Especially AIDS?
Whoa, hold on now. That was actually a very valid question, except for the way that you worded the last part. What do you mean, especially AIDS?
I want you to get that test. Tony, you surely realize that if you do have AIDS, this relationship can probably go no further.
I'm so sorry, Julie.
But see, now it's only AIDS. You see how she did that in like 30 seconds of conversation? I would pose the question, but I already know the answer. They probably just think AIDS is the gay one. Pretty cut and dry. Literally, what this means is that the rest of the film is just all of the characters waiting to find out if Tony has AIDS, which he doesn't. Spoiler. While they're waiting for the results, though, a shocking conversation between Doris and Julie takes place in which Doris implies that it wouldn't be that bad. Doris implies that it wouldn't be that bad to just bite the bullet and chance getting AIDS with Tony.
There is an alternative besides dumping him.
You're not suggesting what I think you are.
I saw a movie once.
When you're fully invested in the universe of these films, sometimes it's hard to take a step back and realize just what the fuck is happening on your screen. But every now and then, a sobering moment like this will present itself that will remind you, you're having a terrible time. They also pull a fake out where Tony's initial test results get mixed up with another patient. So there's like a whole 5 minutes before they realize it's messed up where they think he actually has AIDS. Bold filmmaking. Look, Julie said it herself though, guys. If he's AIDS-free, he's good for me. Don't clip that. Given that that is the case, we have been freed from the clutches of yet another Donald James Parker film. Unlike Best Friends Eternally, Best Friends Recycled's ending doesn't set up anything for the next film, which is especially daunting considering its title, Best Friends Genetically Modified. Best Friends Genetically Modified feels like a reboot of a show after a 10-year hiatus, and in like the worst way. I would say that this one takes the cake for being the absolute worst of the three. In the opening scene between Tony and Jackson, it is revealed that Jackson's relationship with Doris, of which half the last film was built around, has ended. Less than 1 minute after this is mentioned, Tony receives a phone call.
No, you stay there. I'm on my way. Jackson, I gotta go. Julia's freaking out.
What happened?
There was a drive-by shooting at the Monsanto rally. Doris was hit. They're just taking her to the hospital now, and it doesn't look good, Jackson.
Okay, low-key, this could be a good setup, you know, like maybe Doris is gonna be the one that gets genetically modified. Oh, nope, she's dead. Wow, honestly, respect for not just straight up retconning, but way to erase a character's existence as hard as possible. Did you really have to break off their relationship and kill her in a drive-by shooting? It's a rather exhausting reset to the dynamic, is it not? I want this to be over. In order to make that happen quickly, I'm going to attempt to cover the rest of this film in a nutshell description, which will arguably make it a lot more entertaining due to the fact that it's going to sound absolutely insane. Prepare yourself. Newsflash, Jackson has cancer. Yep, let's keep going. The doctor who diagnoses him, Dr. Knight, is a real doctor with a medical degree, meaning in this story, he's going to be the villain. In complete disbelief at his diagnosis, Tony and Julie, who spend a majority of the film scheming against Big Pharma, refer Jackson to Dr. Tingle, a practitioner of holistic medicine. With the help of Dr. Tingle, Jackson is able to pick up on some new age, non-woke medical techniques, such as eating organic fruit and breathing.
You know, people are discovering common everyday substances that have cancer-fighting properties. Tell you what, there's another thing I want you to try. Deep breathing techniques.
Long story short, Dr. Knight launches a legal battle against Dr. Tingle for custody of Jackson's medical care, which he loses. It gives the main characters so much confidence that they, along with the help of Dr. Tingle, attempt to ban GMOs nationwide. That seems to be their main cancer-causing concern in the film. Whatever. Thankfully, that is an effort that they are unable to succeed in, and the movie just kind of ends with them all in one room getting over it. As far as I'm aware, though, and please, someone check me on this, I don't know that Jackson's cancer is addressed any further in the film, like at all. I think the guy's just living with cancer to prove a point. All right, I think I think I'm done here. There's never much use in breaking down every single detail of these films, especially when hitting 3 at once. It's not good for the brain. I'm pretty sure there was one instance where I failed to even make it through a single film, so the fact that I did 3, whatever that looks like, in one video is kind of an accomplishment. I almost didn't make it through. There were many times when I wanted to quit and only do one of the movies. But I did it, and we're done. And I feel like I'm making my way through the Donald James Parker cinematic universe rather quickly. I do happen to know that he has a new film coming out soon, so we will be watching that, okay? Buckle up, buckle up. But until then, be sure to like and comment and subscribe and tell me about your favorite saint in the church. Maybe. Oh, guys. Oh, happy 2026. Oh. Okay, that's really all I have for you this video. And until the next video, oh, Best Friends Genetically Modified, I had to order the physical copy of it because they're all, you can watch all of these movies on YouTube. The upload of Best Friends Genetically Modified on YouTube is really, really low quality though. So I ordered it and it came very quickly, like within a week. So yeah. And now I know Donald James Parker's address.